Zlurpcast!
We're on the air. Oh, I should plug it in. Oh man, you know what's going to happen?
Don't worry, I'll edit this out.
Oh, we can do it, but it's the cord's not going to. I was going to say, hey.
That's a nice shot of your Eldar there.
Yeah, I painted them, obviously.
Obviously. You're really good at yellows.
Yeah, my specialty.
I prime black and then I just put yellow on and it turns green for some reason. I don't understand.
Let's see. Is there? I never turned it on. Oh, it's on.
Oh, that looks like nothing. Now.
It's a white square.
Come on.
It's a white square.
You're a white square.
Sure.
Nope.
How about
Now
now?
it's a white square in darkness.
Are you serious? Oh, fuck. It looks amazing where I'm at. All right. Well, hey, Zlurpcast. Hey,
Oh, so much better.
hey, Zlurpcast. By the way, look at this. Another iron spoon. I have 5 of these. I'm set for 4 more years of prizes, which we'll talk about.
Do you think those were manufactured for people that use cocaine?
I was going to say, is that your Coke spoon?
Yeah, because it's kind of fancy, but also I want to party.
Yeah. It's like the bad guy in a 90s movie or something.
Yeah.
I like this fucking crystal on the end, too. It's pretty badass. Welcome to Zlurpcast. What a weird beginning. This is like the first episode you've ever seen. It's like, what?
It'll be the
point.
last episode you see.
Yeah. Fucking last episode. Get to the fucking points. We're on the air and we're talking Blood Bowl because sort of like phase 4, I guess. Would you guys say our show? Because we were calling this phase 3 because it started as a Blood Bowl podcast many fortnights ago. And then we said we're just going to do other games. We relaunched Zlurpcast about other games. Then during the pandemic, no one wanted to do anything, and Biran wanted the old episodes. We're like, nope. It's like, well, let's make some new ones. We're like, yep. And we did that. And we talked about all these other games. Then we stopped playing those games. Then, for some reason, the game that people in this show, this cast loves to hate, started to be back to the forefront again. Is this phase 4 of Zlurpcast?
Yep.
Video, Zlurpcast TV, but Blood Bowl focused?
We should do other stuff.
Sure, you can always do other stuff, Biran. You know, whatever you do on a weekend, different from what you do on the weekday, you can always do other stuff. If it is in a different state, it doesn't count. All those rules. But we're talking a lot about Blood Bowl lately, and I just not sure how we feel about that.
I mean, it's nice that we all have a shared game now that we're all playing, as opposed to like 1 or 2 of us playing a game.
I feel like the fact that I got a tie against Brian in 7s makes me feel good. Like I'm a player now.
Well, as you're going to find out, tying against Brian's no big deal. We'll talk about it. It's not like tying against somebody like at the level of like a Brian 2 or Frank Bradford or a Vanderbeek. You tie against them, it's a win. You know what a tie against Brian is like? A tie against Brian.
But when you compare like the number of games under my belt, I felt pretty good. Why can't I have this?
Yeah, you know, that was a long time ago, Biran. He's still on the front page of dwarf coaches in America.
Mm-hmm.
You're still a page 1er, Xtreme. Congrats on being a page 1er.
It depends on the resolution of the image of the front page.
Oh, good point. If you're on your phone,
Like 8K, I'd be on the front page.
Yeah.
I actually just looked at it, so I see where my CR was. And I hate that when you search under all variants, they have a separate listing for Blood Bowl and Classic.
Yeah.
So everyone's in rankings twice. It drives me crazy.
Can I ask, is that when you pull up just rankings, just whatever default it is, isn't that everything or no?
Well, you can have an option to have everything, but if you played in all the different variants, you would have a separate rating for each one on that list. So if you look at like top dwarf coaches, Brian 2's on there as 1 and 2 because he played in classic tournaments and Blood Bowl tournaments.
And his name is 2.
And his name is 2.
And
he spells his correctly.
What was that?
He spells his first name correctly.
And he has a son, so essentially there's 1 and 2. And maybe he's a wrestling fan. He's a fan of the Usos because we the 2s and they the 1s.
I don't think he's a wrestling fan.
Probably not. he's too smart for that. But so by the way, we're talking about the NAF. It's where all the Blood Bowl tournaments and rankings have been hosted for 20 plus years. And so earlier today, I didn't filter. I just filtered by race and country, not by type. Are you saying that list that I saw of dwarf coaches is not automatically cumulative or aggregate?
If you didn't choose a type, then I think it defaults to Blood Bowl, which would be Blood Bowl 2020.
So Blood Bowl only means the games that have occurred since the new version has come out.
Anything else would be classic.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe I got those confused. I thought Blood Bowl was everything.
So even 2016 is considered classic.
Yes.
Wow. I thought Blood Bowl was everything and classic just meant old. In other words, classic was in Blood Bowl, like in it. Blood Bowl is everything. That's Blood Bowl, not variants. Blood Bowl should be everything that's Blood Bowl. And classic should be old and call the new one 2020 or something. Right? That way, all Blood Bowl is one ranking. Let the variants be the variants. Is that crazy talk?
I think they should have deleted all records and just started fresh.
Okay. You want fresh? How about fresh every month? Fresh ranking.
Yeah, but
slate.
Looking at Brian 2.
I lost all my sound.
No, we hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but looking at Brian 2, he's only played 1 game of Blood Bowl since 2020 with dwarfs, or
How
1
does that get
tournament.
you top spot then.
Chaos Cup, yeah, because he's got a 7 online. Yeah, he's only played quote Blood Bowl with 1 at Chaos Cup. He went 4 and 2, and yet, so I think the ranking is like overall, even though it says Blood Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but in that list, you'll still have all the other variants. It's a mess.
No,
it is a mess.
The list will have all the variants, but the number, like the number of everything combined, I thought was everything.
I thought so too. Yeah.
But if you click on like my Blood Bowl games, the only thing that'll show up is the stuff since the 2020 rules.
You mean if you want to see what your record was against people?
Yes.
Yeah, correct. Agreed. But I'm talking about if you just go by straight number, that is everything. It's fun to look at the other ones if we know the person, but the number's all. So, which, I don't even know what the answer is.
There is no answer. I mean, we could read through all the documents on the blog section of the NAF page, and maybe we'd figure it out in 3 days. But
who's doing that?
Yeah.
The rankings.
You know what I want to know? Much like we have people in our current 2022 in this country talking about the Constitution and what still applies. Let's go back to the fucking charter. Original NAF charter. That's what I live by.
That's what I wish the rankings were still organized by.
John Lewis rolling over in his grave right
No, he doesn't care.
now. He moved on. He's doing this weird thing called life.
I think the day he moved out of Michigan, he stopped caring about Blood Bowl.
Did you cry?
I was at his last tournament and I left unhappy.
I took over his tournament and made you leave happy.
Yes.
So there we go. So talking Blood Bowl, we just had another Zlurpcast 50% attended tournament. I ran called the Goat L Games. It is a theme tournament based off of the old dwarf Roselle. If you want to look up the whole fluff, feel free. It's in there. I don't need to get into all of it, but the main idea of the tournament will be very casualty heavy, counting all casualties. That was done for two reasons, by the way. One, for easy record keeping. If I make casualties bonus points, I just want you to look in the box and mark it off.
Look in the box.
Look in the box. Only thing different would be apothecary or resurrection from like necromancer, but essentially look in the box. It's all in there. If you trip while going for it or rushing or dodging, whatever, the crowd, count it all. As far as I'm concerned, your team was so intimidating. That's why I tripped. And you brought the crowd. That's why they were so violent. Whatever. Count it all.
Well, if you do it any other way, half the people playing are going to count it wrong. So this gets rid of that nonsense.
Yeah, I think in general, I think people do count it right, but they make mistakes. I don't think they count them wrong on purpose. I just think that there's mistakes where some people, like Xtreme, will tick mark when he does something. Other people wait to the end of the game and count them up. And like, was this one me or was this one you? Well, I put the guys laying down that were real, and I put the ones up that were not real, but then my arm knocked them over anyway. They're all fucking real. Unreal. Chip Diamond. And then I also wanted to count, or I wanted to add a rule for getting these coins, these magical coins, to allow a player reroll. If you cause a casualty by fouling, you are given one of Gotel's magic coins. You put it underneath your player, and it becomes a reroll for them only, kind of like leader, but just for that player. Same rules, team reroll. You can only have one underneath you, so use it before you get a new one under there. And that seemed to work out well, and it was allowed. I talked to NAF officials about getting it approved, and they said that would be approved. My initial concept, by the way, was still count all casualties, but that coin you get, instead of giving you a player reroll, it allowed you to spend it to make an opponent reroll, make your opponent have to reroll. That was on the edge of whether it's approved or not, or whether it would have been considered a variant tournament. Because now you're changing enough of the game to
you're adding a mechanic that the game doesn't have.
Yeah. And then there's the whole, what order does it happen in? Well, reroll. Well, I was going to re-roll it anyway, or I was going to, or whatever. So I just said, fuck it, just make it easier. Let's call it a player reroll, and that was enough to get approved. So the other reason ran this tournament. I have now run a Blood Bowl tournament since May 2015. I looked it up because I submitted the results today for this one, and I saw that. Headbangers Ball, the finale, number 6 or 5. Xtreme, we did 6 because we had the picks that says 666. But did you run that technically?
No, you did. I just gave you a place to run it.
Okay, then maybe that was the last one. I thought it said Headbangers Ball 5, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The last one I ran was a Headbangers Ball. And it's been 7 years since I ran a Blood Bowl tournament. And so I just wanted to, one, get back into things, and also gauge what kind of Blood Bowl action is happening in the Des Moines area. Spoiler, there's none. And I know there were some leagues at the store in the past. I dug up old Facebook posts, so wanted to see if people came out. And then there's a town called Ames, about an hour and a half north, that has a Mayhem store there too. Same comic store just up there. And they had a more recent league up until I think just like 2021 even, or maybe end of 2020. So it's very recent. I'm like, well, at least get some of them. Take any of those. So I wanted to see what was out there. I'm not looking to run a league. It's not my thing. I don't want to run a league. I don't want to play in a league. But I like the idea of a league to tap into for tournament attendees. As we've learned, Mike can attest to this one. How many times, Mike, have we run something in the Chicago area years ago, and you're like, well, obviously everyone in a league that plays here is going to show up. So there's when the store owner's like, how many people do you expect? Well, we're going to have 20 right off the bat. Like right off, like we're going to start with 20 because that's who's in the league.
20's our basement.
That's automatic because they're already in the league. Then we might get a couple from Wisconsin, get an Indiana guy, a couple of his crew. Maybe we'll get somebody a little further away. But we got that 20. That's our league. What happens the day of the tournament, Mike?
0.
8 people total show up from Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one local plays. That happened to me. At this
That
one.
happened
So,
at Red Raccoon Games.
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
That could be an episode in itself. It's like why the disconnect between leagues and tournaments. We'll do an episode on
You
that.
think that the league players are nervous about playing people that aren't in the league?
No.
I don't think it's nerves.
No.
I just
it's,
think
it's just easier to blow off.
Yeah, I think it's taking them out of their element. I think a little bit. I think they like a lot of people. So a lot of people that like leagues, I think like the team management aspect of it, the gaming, the system of sorts. I don't like that at all. Because I have zero interest in, Xtreme. We were talking to Chance to shooting the shit, and he was like, and it's funny the way he was talking about, like, oh, this guy got a bad skill. He learned something weird in training camp. Got to cut him. Like he was treating it like it's a real team. I just don't like it. I like his story, so that was interesting, but I'm not going to cut people if they get a weird random skill and that kind of stuff. But I just think there's some disconnect for many reasons. But I knew for me, I wanted to run this one, get back into things. I also wanted to hit the reset button of sorts on how I ran tournaments. I wanted to dumb everything down as much as possible. And that includes everything. Going down to 3 games, going down to don't worry about sending me your roster. I'll check it in the morning. I'm not even doing game sheets. I had a little slip that said, who'd you play? What were your scores? And just hand it back to me. I don't want to do the whole, you know what happens when I do the game sheets? I forget to hand them back out. People, where are the game sheets? I got to put a tick mark down. It's like, okay, calm down. So I just did these little slips, a new one each round, and just want to start over and try a new way of running tournaments. And I think I did that with no problem. So let's talk about the team build. So I talked about the special rules of the tournament. Team build is 1.1 million gold. Is it gold pieces? Gold crowns?
Gold pieces.
It's gold pieces of gold.
Yes.
Side note.
Sevens.
Is a side piece?
Sevens is bronze pieces.
Oh, bronze. What does Dungeon Bowl use?
Magic.
Magic pieces?
MPs.
Electrium.
It's like quote I heard of the tournament. Well, you took out a guard piece. I didn't know someone meant a guard piece. He meant a model with guard. I wasn't familiar with piece in that respect. I usually think it's like when Xtreme says bye, he goes, peace. That's what I thought it meant. Wasn't that? He used to do that, I bet. Xtreme, 2002, you say peace?
Yeah.
He didn't say
peace?
He didn't say you took out a guard. Nice.
Guard, peace. So 1.1 million gold pieces. All the races that are in the rule book, Teams of Legend, and Corn. Is that the only?
Well, Corn's an official team now.
Oh, so I didn't even have to say.
But there is the old Corn that you can or you have the option to include or not.
Oh, I should have probably specified.
You
I
can't.
put,
They changed it. You have to use the official Corn now.
Oh, that makes sense.
The only NAF team is Slan right now.
Slan or Schlan?
Slan.
I believe it's a SK. I think there's a K in there. Schlan. So Schlan. Mike, do you say Slan? Because you said Larry. You said Larry Hama. So I thought you said Slan.
Hama.
It's Larry. Hey, I got an autograph from a Larry Hama. Do you say Slam? And then the other teams, right? So it's the rule book, just so I'm clear. It's the rule book. It's the Teams of Legend. It's any team that came out in a spike. So like Norse, right? And Slam.
That's it.
And what are the other ones besides Norse that are in that category?
That are in the Spike magazine category?
They're in the only in Spike and not in another
Corn.
book. Corn. So Corn and Norse came out after the rule book.
I think those are the only two. Yeah.
And Teams of Legend. It was weird when I was checking rosters because I had these printouts that I put on cardstock just to make it easy. And I thought it'd be easy, but I just completely forgot that Chaos Dwarf is not a real team in the rule book.
What's Chaos Dwarf?
They're a team of legend.
I've never heard that term before.
Oh, are you thinking Charf?
Yeah.
It's Charf.
Dwarf.
With an A, Charf. I totally forgot they weren't in the rule book. They're so iconic of Blood Bowl, right?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you had asked people to use BB roster to print out their teams and submit them to you. So I followed your instructions and did that. How many other people did?
None.
All right.
Here's the thing. I don't even care so much about the BB roster as I do about writing your skills on there and not having money on them. That's the hardest part. Because then I start looking at money and using my calculator, and I'm like, wait, why does this black orc cost 115,000?
Yeah.
Oh, because you got the skill on them already. That's the biggest. BB roster is perfect, and they write the skills on. But even if you did it in Excel, just don't put the fucking money of the skills. At no point in the rule book did I say you get money for skills. You know, a lot of people do. You get 150,000, you get 180,000. I didn't say you get money. I said you get skills. There's no money attached to those. So why is there money on the roster? Xtreme, should I have held up the tournament and rejected 6 of the 8 rosters?
No, I just think it was I was being considerate doing what you asked, because I have my own Excel sheet that I usually have, and I printed one out for me, but then for you and all my opponents, I'd use the BB roster because that's what you asked for.
You know what? Great point. Next year, Go Tell Games 2, bonus points if you use bbroster.com. Because Chance did one, I'm going to add 2. If you finish your game on time, 3 bonus points.
I loved that. That was awesome.
Here's my thing though. I do 2-hour time limits. I don't do 2:15, so most people do 2 hours 15 strict. I do 2 hours not strict. At 2 hours, I walk by and I ask where they're at. And if they're starting turn 8, I just go right at, or if they're about to, it's fine, whatever. So I do 2 hours not strict as opposed to 2:15 strict. I don't know what the right answer is, but maybe I'll put that one there too.
And then there's always if you're playing the game before lunch, that one's less strict.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so that last game, by the way, well, I'll get to it. We'll talk about all the games. But one of the last games, last round, it was going long, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Cut this one short? They're playing for the.
Yep.
One guy's playing for a chance to win it. But anyway, a lot of TO discretion stuff in there. And so 1.1 million, you get 2 choices: either 6 primary skills for 6 players, or 4 skills, 2 primary and 2 could be primary or secondary, and you could also put 2 on 1 player for a max of 2. So the idea would be quantity over quality, I guess, was what I was thinking of. And I actually really was just going to do the straight 6 primary, not fuck around with it, because I'm in the spirit of dumbing everything down. Why give another option? And I still might do that, but I thought, why not there's some teams that I guess if you really wanted to go less, or you really wanted to get a secondary skill or whatever, I allowed it, but everyone was fine. I didn't see anything crazy skill wise. There was a sneaky get on a death roller though. Xtreme, any commentary on that?
He invested a lot in that one player. A death roller, he took a bribe, and then he gave it sneaky get, sacrificing other skills. It was a big commitment to one player.
I think it worked out for him.
Yeah.
I allowed no inducements except for bribes. Everything else, not part of this. Some people didn't like it. People that didn't even attend, so who gives a fuck? And you're not coming, so whatever. But
how many hack flames?
I had no inducements.
Oh, so no star players at all.
No inducements, only bribes. And here's the thing: I have zero problem. Bribes are extremely Blood Bowl-y, in my opinion. I like the idea of them. I've always been a fan of them. And I guess my thought was, if I'm going to call this a fouling heavy tournament, why would I, I like bribes. They're fun.
I know Xtreme does, because that's is this your second foul centric tournament this year? Because
Yeah,
Feast of the Goblin King was very foul centric too.
but this time I fouled 0 player. No, I had 1 foul in this tournament. Whereas at Feast of the Goblin King, I had my death roller and I was doing a lot of fouling.
Well, when you build your roster Xtreme, you're very much either, would you say it's either one War Machine? You have a sideboard, or is that what that's called? What was that called?
They don't really do it in War Machine, but yeah, sideboard.
Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, whatever. You have sort of 2 overall rosters, is that correct?
Not, I guess currently in the world that we live in now, yes.
In the Blood Bowl 2020 world, not the classic world. You're talking classic? We don't cover classic on this show, if that's what you're talking about.
If we go, there's a theme going across the whole thing. I start with my core, my 11 players, at least 2 rerolls, and then I adjust from there. Like, what else can I add if you're going to give me a bunch of money?
Oh, because your core is 1,000,000, or no, 9.
It's a little under 1 million.
Enough to add in a death roller.
Not at this tournament without sacrificing my core 11.
What do you need to get death roll at 1.2? Realistically, probably 1.
Yeah, if you're going to get like a bribe and stuff and still keep a legitimate dwarf team after death roller's gone. Yeah,
or just make sure death row stays on the pitch almost both halves fully.
Yeah, just pass all your arguing calls. And
the guy that brought the death roll, I asked him, he said it stayed on the pitch for a long time in most of his games.
Not against me.
All right, well, how'd that work out for you? Did that work out in your favor? Or?
No.
Okay. You know what? Take your small victory. Enjoy. Don't strain a muscle patting yourself on the back, though. That's all I'm saying.
It was only on the pitch for 4 turns. Right. But in those 4 turns, he caused 2 casualties. So
he ran over your team, your coach, and your fans, basically. He left a trail of 40 minor guts. Dare I say it, there's like 36 minors now. It ain't even 40 anymore.
They're all badly hurt.
Oh, career-ending injuries, not deaths?
Do they have niggling injuries?
I do occasionally retire a player, but no one knows but me because the name changes on my roster.
In your head canon?
Yeah.
I know Biran's trying to be funny because he likes that word, but on a tournament note, just want to throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. What do you think about like an adjusted niggling injury rule in a tournament? You still reset, but 1 player on everybody's team has a niggling injury just from being exhausted.
Just a random player. Random player gets an injury.
Random player has to, because what's niggling? They don't play on a 2+.
They don't play on a. They play on a 2+.
Oh, playing on. So sorry, that's what I meant.
No, that was multiple editions ago.
What I would do.
It's +1 to injury now.
Oh, +1 injury. I was thinking, what about? I mean, it's pretty wild. This would literally have to be like the theme of the tournament. That's how crazy. But basically, that random player is a bonehead now.
They got concussed.
They got fucking cussed. They got.
What if every player is bonehead?
And it's each round, it's another one. Random player, and that player is bonehead. He's concussed after each game.
That random roll could really hurt some people.
I know. How cool is
on my board answer.
Hey, guess what, Xtreme? Not to burst your bubble, but every roll is random.
I think it would complicate it more than it needs to be.
Every random
roll, again.
Every roll is random, which could also really hurt somebody. I roll double skulls. That really hurt me, Xtreme. I don't like rolling double skulls. Only thing worse is triple skulls. Only thing. And getting my nuts chewed on.
That's not the one. It's worse if you reroll and do double skulls again. Because now you've lost a reroll and you still have the horrible result.
Okay. Triple, reroll, triple. Sextuple. Sex thruple. All I'm saying is just a fun little idea.
How about a triple uphill pow pow skull twice in a row?
That sounds like, with the way you say it, Biran, it almost sounds like someone trying to do like a move in gymnastics. Like, what about a triple pow
Pow skull.
Like it sounds like a triple Lindy or something. Like, anyway, just throwing that out there. Just a fun little something. We did 1.1 million and no star players. Like I said, no inducements besides bribes. Here is the team breakdown. See if you can guess what country these teams were played in, because America is known for a certain play style in Blood Bowl. We had dwarf, chaos dwarf, orc, undead, shambling undead. It's under S in the rule book and not under U. I was like, where's undead? Is that a legend? Shambling undead, lizard men, and ogre. What country did this tournament take place in?
Sweden.
Motherfucking America. We like our bash, don't we? We like our Franklin and Bash.
That was a good show.
I never watched one, but I wouldn't mind pleasuring myself to the lead cast. One of the two. You figure it out.
Zach Morris.
Nope, Breckenmeyer.
Oh, it's Breckenmeyer.
Come on. Clueless. It's great. Did that whole speech thanking the guy making the fucking McMuffins. I love it. So why do we, is this just, let me ask the crew here. Is there a reason why we didn't see elf teams that I did with the tournament rules, or was this just happenstance in America?
Well, you have a foul and casually centric tournament.
People didn't do it as much as you think, though, Mike. I gave out 5 coins, I think. So it was supposed to be 8. Oh, go ahead, Xtreme. Sorry.
But the coins, you only got the coin because of casualty too.
Right.
If I had one idea I would pass along for a future Godel, it would be if you remove the player from the pitch, you get a coin.
Oh, knockouts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I thought there'd be more than there was. That's a good idea. I'll talk to the council first, though, which is you. So, yeah, take a player off the pitch. I thought there'd be more because I thought people would, but I guess, let me ask you guys another question. Bonuses, I consider that a bonus. Not bonus points, but getting a thing for fouling and getting a casualty, is that enough to make you change your play style?
Not when my players are expensive.
You didn't want to risk it.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to the tournament and I just wanted to play the theme, I would have brought a different race. So that way I could foul. And
here's one for you, Xtreme. So I like your knockout idea. We'll take that and put that all the way over to the back burner. So all the way back here.
Okay.
That's the burner for things that are going to go to the back burner. It's not even the back burner. Here's another one. Since the tournament is from the mind of Mr. Goat L himself, and he wants fouls, why would the refs be calling fouls? Why wouldn't the refs just be like, oh, I'm taking today off because he told them to take today off? If there were no refs, Xtreme thoughts on that?
You didn't allow what's that called? The odious refs or the...
Oh, there is a rule, isn't there?
There's a bunch of them.
Odious. What's odious? What does that mean?
What is it? Some stupid word, but there's like a whole list of refs. But
yeah.
Oh, that's true. I think Death Zone has those, right?
Yep.
No,
Oh,
are there some of the main rules too?
I don't know. What does odious mean, Mike?
Smelly.
Oh, like odorous.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's odious.
I did say odious. That means with the smell. But
What
is
is
that called?
Like if you're like
it's not unscrupulous.
Is that like if you're in love with your mom? Is that part of that too?
That's edible.
That's close.
it's just like
That's edibles, Biran?
Mm-hmm.
No one's listening to me.
Oh, sorry, Xtreme. We're making dumb word jokes.
You have the floor, Xtreme.
Oh, I'm done. So your counter offer to my offer that was put on the hot plate, not on the stove, but off to the side, is that no fouls would ever be caught.
Right.
Okay.
It's not a counter offer. It's just an idea because we're 363 days from the next one and we're doing a show talking about it. That's it. Let's not read anything more into this. There's no offer on the table. There's no counter offer. There's an idea on the burner that goes to the back burner. And then there's an idea floating in the fucking ether right now. That's it.
If you go with that idea, then you would be stupid not to foul every turn. Yes, why wouldn't you? It'd be like a blitz. Like, why would you not blitz? So there would definitely be more fouling.
Chance of getting hurt and fouling instead of the ref. I hurt my foot. Each foul attempt is also a go for it roll. No ref, but you might hurt your foot.
Okay.
Again, simpler is better.
You're going to be labeled as a specialist tournament, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh. You mean if I said no refs, is that automatically specialist, you think?
Probably.
Okay, well then you know what? I don't want that label.
Why not?
That's a label. You could own that label, Xtreme. I'm not gonna own that.
I would love to own that label.
Then fucking own it. Then Mike.
Right now, Jeffro kind of owns it,
Hey,
but you
guess
know.
what? Gen Con Bowl, Mike. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and say all fouls count, or no refs allowed. Own the label.
Big House Challenge is a specialist.
Is that just because of you?
No, because of the limited races they're allowed to show up.
Well, that's a pretty big fucking deal.
It is. But in the past, when I ran Big House Challenge, I didn't do that. But now that I have this option of a specialist and I could do it the way I wanted all along, now I can.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's way better to do it this way.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Don't get me wrong.
I heavily incentivized you to bring dwarves, but people didn't. And then they won the tournament and ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, but I take issue with you saying heavily incentivized. You incentivized. You would do extra. Roughly how many extra bonus points? 50?
I don't remember,
100?
but it was heavily incentivized.
It wasn't.
It was extra skills. It was extra money.
No. You don't take a dwarf team. Okay, your win is worth 3 points. You take a dwarf team, your win is worth 3 million points.
You don't take a dwarf team, you start the game off down 5-0.
Right. You play you win all your games, kick all the asses. With Skaven, you have like 12 points at the end of the day. You win one game with a dwarf team, you're at 3 million. Just something to consider.
It wasn't that ridiculous, but I do believe you got bonus points for playing dwarves. I think it was like 10 points.
I know, but that's just 10. Throw some fucking zeros in there.
If a team not dwarves won, then it wasn't enough.
That's what I'm saying. You got to make it so ridiculous that you have to be a fool or an asshole to do it.
So I'd bring it on dwarf team.
Well, you're both.
I don't own a painted dwarf team, so
Technically you're both.
yeah. And it's not like I was going to win anyway. So
Listen, foolish asshole, assholeish fool. We're not arguing about that. I agree. Anyway, but side note, I do love specialist tournaments. I just didn't want mine to be that. I wanted it to be 3-game play with a little fucking extra. That's all. So we have our bash teams. Round 1 gets announced. Luck of the draw. I get Xtreme.
wow, what are the odds?
Mike, you can do whatever signs you want, Mike. I don't know what that means. Cut it out. Ogres against dwarves. Xtreme thinks, I got an easy time.
Easy W right here.
Yeah, what an easy draw. I'm playing the ringer. I'm playing the odd man out. I'm playing my alleged friend. Let's Xtreme. I don't know. Do you want to talk about this game at all? What's on your mind?
I would say the opening drive, I kicked you and you played a superb drive.
Thank you.
You had me screened off where I couldn't touch anything. You did an excellent job and you went down the field. And the only thing I could really do is encourage you to score and not stall longer on me. then I was able to score back in the first half. So we went to half tied, and I was feeling pretty good because I was receiving the second half. Throughout the game, your bonehead rolls were on fire.
Unbelievable. You, by the way, you were like, you're going to pay for this later. I so did. My third game against Eric.
You were supposed to pay it at the
Well,
second.
no. Oh, you meant later, like later in our game.
Yes.
Oh my! It was literally. I think it was worse than really stupid. I think it was like 60% fail in my third game. It was wild. But not against you. I made in a row, probably 20 in a row.
Yeah, in our game, you failed a couple that didn't really matter because the guy was on the ground out of play. I would say I think you failed 3 that were actually guys that were on the field in play. So that was phenomenal. But I started off the second half and I had a good drive going. And I was really waiting for you to fail a couple bonehead rolls and give me a hole, but it never happened. But I was pushing off to the side, and then I saw a huge opening in the middle of the field. And I was like, I can screen off this ogre. Like, this is a smart move. So I do that. But I didn't count on you dodging out with an ogre and blitzing me and causing me all kinds of trouble. So you stalled out my drive and then eventually got the ball on an ogre.
Right.
So I had to get him down just to keep the tie.
I knew I wasn't going to win. I was like, well, if I get the ball in an ogre's hands, that's going to be tough for you. If I realistically was trying to win, it would be get it to a snot, try to do a throw.
Well, by the time he got the ball, there were no snots left.
Oh, great point. You're right. You did kill all the snots, or not. You did actually. How many casualties? 6?
I have it here. Let me see.
It was either 6 or 7.
5.
5. Oh, 5. Okay. You know, I think you had a couple knockouts in there too.
Yes.
1 ogre of the 5, right?
Yep. 1 ogre and 4 snots.
So you did injure an ogre. Let me say one thing about the bonehead rolls. I got those dice from you. So they were defreezer dice, which, by the way, I brought on accident. I forgot to take them out of my bag and replace them with red dice to match my team. So it was an accident, and you're welcome.
Thank you.
They were very magical dice with the freezer's face on there. It was a fun game, and I think I made a shit ton of bonehead rolls. I made some lucky dodges, and when I play ogres or any of the tier 3 teams, it's usually as a result of running the tournament, and I just try weird shit because why not? And that's when fun stuff happens. But ogres dodge on a 4. What do you want me to do? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Very fun game. I'm glad we got to play. Oh, let me also just take a step back too, and tell you guys and the people watching how surprised I was to see Brian at the event. So doors open at 10. I get there around 9:52-ish. Come around the corner, I see the usual Blood Bowl crew. When I say usual, I don't mean usual people. I'm saying usual demeanor. What do you see at a Blood Bowl tournament before a store opens? Biran?
A lot of fat guys.
Where are they, though? Where are they?
I don't know.
In the
A
parking
lot
lot?
of guys with baseball hats standing around in the parking lot.
They look like they're at a fucking car show, except minus Xtreme's car. Nothing you would see at a car show. That's what it looks like. It's just a bunch of dudes standing around cars doing like the King of the Hill, like, yep. So I pull around and I don't even notice anymore, but hey, I don't know locals. So maybe they're locals. I don't know. Go around. First thing I see is, look at that fucking badass Beetle with the red on there. I'm like, I got to
this
get
hot Asian girl that's driving it.
Well, my first thought was, I got to get a picture of this for Xtreme first thing today. That's my first priority of the day, is be like, this guy seems cool. I was wrong when I found out who it was, but I was like, this guy seems cool. I'm like, and it is Xtreme. I'm like, oh, what a surprise. He drove all hours of the night to attend my tournament. I thought that was great. So let's do the quick rundown. Forgot to say this earlier. Xtreme is representing Indiana, the longest traveled. If I had an award for that, he would have got it. We then have, I'm going by memory here, Rich, and who goes by like Stushnik on math, if Mike knows him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rich Heffernan. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to know all the NAF names. I don't know. I'm not at your level of knowing all those. But and then Derek goes by Duder.
Duder, yeah.
Was
I don't even
there.
know his real name.
I was embarrassed to say I forgot it, so I called him Duder throughout the tournament. And I told him, I'm like, I really like the name. I'm going to call you that. And then one of the team sheets said Derek. I'm like, somebody saved me on that one. So Derek, of course, Derek. I didn't want to ask. It's too late to ask. It's like I've already been out with this girl 3 times. I can't ask her name. I can't ask. So Duder and Rich, Derek and Rich from Minneapolis, running unsuitable coming up. By the way,
it's unsuitable.
Unsuitable. What does that mean, Biran?
It's a common Scandinavian expression. Like, say you just ate a huge meal and you spat your belly and you go, oofda. Or you just shoveled your driveway and it had 1.5 foot of snow everywhere and you go, oofda.
So it's like you're tired, you're exhausted.
A lot. It's a lot. It's too much. Oofda.
Okay.
Yeah, my family says it too.
Biran, you should go to their tournament. It's at the Fantasy Flight Center. I want to just for that. I want to go.
Too far.
It's called Game Center now, by the way. I might check it out. I'm going to be there. I told them that I was going to be at a wedding during the tournament, but I'm not. It's actually the weekend after. Oh, so I take it back. If you're watching this, you're not going to be able to make it in time because the tournament is on Saturday. This comes out.
That's why you should have called in last week, what our topic was.
If you wanted to talk about unsuitable, you should have sent it in last week when our topic was. Anyway, so yeah, those guys are from Minnesota. We had Eric, whose NAF name is Eric. Eric Smith, B. Smith, I think. And he is from Omaha or Lincoln, that area. And then Patrick is from Kansas City area. Mike, you know him? OP Cubby?
Yeah.
And then we had Chance from Iowa City.
You forgot Father Gaius.
I didn't forget. I said Chance. I'm going on the list.
Okay.
Oh, from that same area, you mean?
Yeah, that's how you go by area.
Okay, you're right. Father, what do you call him?
Father Gaius.
Gaius. I always call him Galius.
It's Galius.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's Galius.
I think you might be right.
Is there an L?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I thought it was a silent L.
Silent L. That's how I see it in my head.
Here's the thing. It's not even Galius. I think it's like Galus.
Gailus.
Gay lust.
Gailus.
Yeah. Grow up.
We were doing Gaius from Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah.
Battlestar.
Battlestar. Dr. Zaius is from Planet of the Apes. Dr. Gaius is from Battlestar Galactica.
Rock me, Dr. Zaius. Xtreme. I don't appreciate gay lust as a jokey term.
Okay.
Especially in this month.
Well, I'm going to use it as a hashtag when I promote the episode. Because it was said. It was said in the episode. It's canon. Got to go with it. Yes, and Father Galius was there also with Eric from Nebraska, we'll say. And then we had Chance from Iowa City. So no one in my region. Was I disappointed?
You missed somebody.
I did.
Who was Op Cubby?
That's Patrick from.
Oh, Patrick. Yeah, duh.
I said OP Cubby. Is it Op Cubby?
Gotcha.
What does that mean, by the way?
No idea.
Xtreme, is that a Cubs thing?
Cubs are definitely not OP.
I mean, they were when I ran a tournament last.
They were in 2016.
Yeah. Anyway, so we had 8 people, including myself, which meant 6 awards would be given out. 1 would be the loser and not get an award, not the loser award, but and then 1 would be me. We'll talk about that when we get to that. Other round 1 matchups we had. Should I pull it up? We got Excel. We have a spreadsheet. I think I could do that. Is it the one that says, why are there like real work? There we go. We also had Rich, who played dwarves with the Death Roller, taking on Patrick, OP Cubby. Patrick played Lizard Men, by the way. That ended.
Actually, no, not according to the NAF page.
What?
Rich lost that game according to what you entered into NAF.
What did I say? We won? No, Rich lost.
Yeah. Okay.
What did I say?
You said he won. You
Sorry.
said he took out.
Oh, he took. I meant he took it out.
Sure.
No, I have it correct. But did you hit the magic button, Mike, or no?
No, it's there's no magic button anymore. It's a 24-hour auto.
No, that's not as fun. Can you just tell me there's a magic button?
Sure.
Okay. Is it the one in the bottom right of my screen right now that's red? I'm going to hit that one. See what it does. Side note, playing Star Wars: The Old Republic many years ago, and I asked how to do something, what command. Someone told me a certain command, and it turned my whole fucking game off.
Was it Alt
Like,
F4?
how do you check your inventory? But then in the map, oh, just do boop, boop, boop. I'm like, thanks, buddy. I did boop, boop, boop. Game was off. Thanks, dick. Rich, with his dwarves, played against Patrick Lizardman, and Rich lost. Patrick won, 1-0. Chance, with his orcs, played against Eric and his undead.
Question,
And
are we going to go through every game and score?
all right, forget it.
All right, good.
Okay, it's done.
I only care
round
about
two.
your guys' games.
That's fine. You should have fucking came, and then you could talk shit. How about that?
I was camping.
You could have camped in Des Moines.
Not good. Actually, the nearest campground in Des Moines is a little bit of a haul.
If you take I-80, you can stop at the world's largest truck stop, which
Yeah.
was awesome. But I was there so late at night that everything was closed, so not awesome. But
I bet there's other stuff
imagine
going
how
on.
awesome it is.
Did you
Extreme,
ever
there
see
was
lot
stuff going-
lizards?
Good.
What?
Did you run into any lot lizards?
No, the trucks were all on the other side, so the lot lizards were separated from cars.
That's what I was kind of getting at. I'm sure some things were open at that hour.
Yeah, I mean the basic like truck stop thing was open, but it's like a small mall almost with all. I would say it was like a huge super oasis.
Yeah.
But all
Did
the,
you
like,
book a Did you book a shower?
No, I did not.
I've been there, but I didn't like take in all that it has to offer.
Yeah,
I just treated it like a normal rest stop.
there's another really awesome truck stop I like in Missouri on your way to Tennessee. Has a giant rocking chair and it's really cool too.
Sounds like a story that only you identify with.
Yeah.
Why would you go into Missouri to get to Tennessee?
Is that right? Yeah, because you're going down, because Tennessee goes over far enough. Like I was going to Memphis,
Oh,
so.
You know,
going through-
Extreme, you don't have to justify it. If you took a crazy route, you know, like you're watching some like movie, they show a map, and then there's a part where they're like, ooh, like you don't have to justify, you know. However you got to Nashville, you got
No, Memphis, Nashville. It would be a crazy route going to Nashville. But
there. Even if you did though, if you want to do some fucking loop-de-loops, that's on you. Extreme, do you want to talk about your games?
I'm sure you want me to go through all of them, or we're going to
No,
go.
I mean whatever Biran can fucking tolerate. I don't know.
My second round, I played Duder, and he was playing his undead.
is that Derek?
Yeah, you know him
Yeah, I know his name's Derek.
from what?
Alright.
From earlier?
Yeah, from earlier in our conversation.
I just
already
know him as
got that.
So of my 3 games, my results weren't great, but I would say there was only one drive that I played poorly, or I could have played better. And it was the opening drive against Duder. I could have played better defense than I did. But he ended up scoring, and then in the second half, like I just went, the dice went crazy, and I was just casualing his guys constantly. I ended up with 6 casualties in the game.
He had
And-
undead, right?
Yeah, and they were just.
What did he do for skills? Remember?
He had guard on both mummies and both whites, and he had a sneaky get, or either a sneaky get or dirty player, I don't remember, on a skeleton. And something else, I don't know. Is that right? 2, 4. Some other skill.
Oh, I
He's a
thought
dirty player.
Sneaky gets an agility skill though, right?
Yeah, it was dirty player.
That was probably dirty player. And
Oh,
then there
okay,
was
because that would have broken the rules and I didn't catch it then. Because I did the can only get a secondary if you're doing the 4 skill pack.
Right. I'm sure it was dirty players.
Oh wait, ghouls could take agility. Was that it?
No, it was a skeleton.
Okay. Anyway, so dirty player.
Yep. But I had him down to few enough players that the score was kind of easy. And it was in that weird period where I wasn't confident I had enough turns to score a second time. And he had a ghoul that was knocked out. I was afraid it was going to come back. So I kind of started stalling, but then I had more casualties. And by the time I did score, I had all of his ball carriers out of the game. I was like, maybe I should have scored earlier, but so I kind of half stalled for the tie.
Well, there's no shame
to stall, man.
Well, I was afraid that I wasn't going to have time to get the ball from him and score again. And why risk him scoring against me and losing?
Because it's more fun to score quickly than stall.
Yeah.
Xtreme, no shame in that tie. None at all.
I mean, I don't regret anything I did other than I could have played that first drive better.
You never said you were a role model. I get it. What about your next game?
My final game was against Shushnik and his dwarf team, who he took the death roller and the smaller skill pack and gave it sneaky get and had a bribe. And sneaky get on a death roller is pretty amazing. That moving after the foul works really well on a strong model. And there was one of the rare times where I questioned a rule because I was getting sneaky get 2016 mixed up with the 2020 version because he broke my armor on a double 6. I was like, oh, we're still caught, but you're not. So we had to clarify that, which was fun. He ended up casualtying. It was crazy. Like the first half, he was taking my guys out pretty easily, which was frustrating. But I ended up suffering 7 casualties against him, and he didn't have, other than the death roller, he had no mighty blow or any damage causing skills. But the death roller took out 2, and then was eventually caught on a foul, and he failed the argue the call roll, so then he couldn't use his bribe, and the death roller was gone. So that should have been helpful, but I started causing some damage to his team too. I only ended up with 2 casualties, but I had some knockouts and stuff. At one point, I think we started the second half and it was 8 versus 8. And by the end of the game, I had 3 players left and he had 5, I think. So it was kind of a mess at the end of the game, but he ended up winning 2-0.
Why can't a coach hand the bribe to one of their players to use if he gets thrown out? And then the player says, I'm the captain of the team, coach. I will find the ref, hand him the money if something bad happens to you.
There is no logic at all to that sequence. I've done a lot of reading on it in the last couple of days, and there's nothing that says what order you have to do in or whether you have to do both. And if you get caught or if you roll the 1 and argue the call, you can't bribe that time, but you can bribe in the future in the game. It's so weird.
Wait, if you argue the call and fail, you're out of the coach is out for the game.
Right. And it says you can't bribe on that one, but later in the game you can.
Oh, so players do have money. So but what you're saying is Blood Bowl players have pockets.
I don't know.
Well, you've got to,
What I'm saying is that rule, like the throw teammate rule, is just inconsistent, and it drives me a little crazy. Like, why not just be consistent across the board and be done?
Maybe while in the showers in the locker room, he can Venmo the money to the ref.
Yes.
I don't think they still have Venmo in 25, 22.
Mm.
Is that what year it is now?
Isn't it just 20, 25 plus whatever
Is this
number?
like the
are?
Hebrew
They
calendar?
went backwards.
Oh, then no. It's a
They
reverse.
changed it in 2022.
Oh, it was so much easier to do the math.
2020 in 2020 they actually it's back a little bit. So
Is that still because of the men in tights? I'm still mad about
I'm
that.
still angry about that.
Biran, years ago, when you won the Chaos Cup, your team name is in like the official Blood Bowl lore because the Chaos Cup was a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. It's like, see that in print. And then people have joke names sometimes. Like, wow, we can't put a joke name.
We can't have Liz in my pants.
Right. Meanwhile, look at there's already fucking joke names. Isn't the Lowdown Rats kind of a joke name? I don't know, just a thought.
You can't have a team called Beef Lips on the trophy.
Maybe. Was Men in Tights too goofy, or was it because it was men and not elves in tights?
I think it was too goofy, but I didn't care about that, but it was elves. That's what bothered me. Not enough to keep it out of the rule book, but
But that one made it into the rule book. The one that didn't make it into the rule book was the Rats and Nim. They won Spike one year.
Rats and Nim, is that because of copyright, do you think?
Yes. They were afraid of the copyright issue. So
well, elves could be men in tights because elves still have men and women gender, right?
It's male and female.
It's male, female.
Men, woman, male, female. Gender is very messy nowadays.
Melf.
Melf.
A men in tights, I'd like to.
A man elf, I'd like to fuck. Where were we?
I finished my 3 games. I don't know if you want to.
I don't think Biran can last, but I'll give a quick and dirty of it.
Yeah, I'm almost finished. Baseball.
So round 2, since Xtreme and I tied, the only logical thing was to have the 2 ties play the 2 ties. So I played against Aaron, Father Galas. We have not played in many, many years, so it was great to play against him again. He had Chaos Dwarves. It hurt me a bit because before the tournament, he had several rosters, and he asked me to pick what roster he should use. And then I had to play him and get beat by it. And it's like, if I knew I was going to play you, I would have picked the fucking shitty one.
Mm-hmm.
I picked the good one, and he won. And that's why he won. Fun game, 3-0. It is what it is. Round 3, I played against Eric, who had Undead.
So 3-0. How could you give us any kind of flavor on how it turned out that way?
He scored 3 times, actually. So, and I ended up scoring 0 times. That's about it.
So it was a salty game, is what you're saying.
No, it's fine. I mean, he got some casualties. I don't have the same like photographic memory that Xtreme has with my games, by the way.
I think Xtreme takes notes during this game.
He remembers details, and I don't. In games, I just remember Aaron feeling bad about like boneheads and failing, and it's like, stop apologizing. I want to fucking hear it. Just kick my ass and let me move on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
But as usual, he's a great opponent. All good. I tried to be as annoying as possible with the snots and just get them in the way. But Chaos Dwarves are a great team, and he's a great coach. So they did what they do. Third game, played against Undead, against Eric, who was not having a good day. He was in not a bad mood. He was just he had what he thought was a pretty good team, and he's a pretty good coach, and things were not going his way. So I helped him out a bit by letting him stomp a mud hole in me for a bit. I think that was a 2-0 loss. And once again, I just tried to that game. I did focus on throwing snots quite often. And sometimes it worked. Sometimes I botched the landing. Sometimes I botched the throw. I did learn, by the way, I didn't realize this. So the 6th positional, or you have, it's not 6 ogres anymore. It's 5 ogre blockers and 1 ogre runt punter.
Runt punter.
Gunt puncher.
I just thought it was a better pass stat, and that is they have a 4+ stat as opposed to a 5. I didn't realize that their skill they have, kick teammate, is actually intended to hurt your players. It's not a good skill to use. You're kicking the snot, not throwing them. I didn't care for that. So even with my run punter, which was Bulk Bogan, my wrestling teamed Ogrando Rage theme, I still did throw teammate. I threw him. I did not punt him. I just want to take advantage of that 4+ passing stat.
So why would you punt? Does it go further, or what's the difference?
Because you can do both a throw and a punt in the same.
It's an extra action.
Oh, okay.
So you do a throw action, you do a punt, a kick action.
So in theory, you could. So just so I understand it, so you're the guy. You can throw a teammate. So let's say that your one snot has the ball. You throw him and he lands.
Yeah.
and then you kick a teammate and he lands somewhere near him. In theory, could the throw teammate then hand it off to the punted teammate and the punted teammate score?
So
is that it?
Yes, because neither of the Snotlings have done anything.
Right.
The Texans are on the Ogres.
What was the bad thing about punting though, Xtreme? I forgot.
Everything. It shouldn't be in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you fumble it,
Mike,
the guy
Mike,
gets
what's
hurt.
the real answer I'm looking for?
If you fumble the punt, he gets hurt, and there's a mighty blow added to it.
And
Yeah,
the range is the same on a punt or a throw?
Yes. The reason that I don't like it is that it just causes so many rules confusions because it acts like a throw teammate. So then there's like all these loopholes, like half the FAQ I feel like is about kicking teammates. And I feel like it would have been easier just to say ogres can throw two teammates.
No, how about, here's another one. Make it be long range instead of short range. If you're punting it, it should be farther than a throw, right?
Make it one harder. Boom.
Right. Or no, one longer. I mean, like
One
so
longer
short.
to make it harder to land, maybe.
I wouldn't even do it. It's only one player. It's like a lot of teams got a specialist player. I just would, that guy is your thrower of your team. You want him to do most of the throws, but you're kicking him. I don't know. I don't like. I read the one line about me possibly getting hurt more, and I stopped reading. So
don't like that.
Don't like that. Why read more? I took the 4+ to throw teammate with him. So overall, I finished with a tie and 2 losses. Xtreme, what was yours?
2 ties and a loss.
Okay. The winner was Rich with his dwarves with the death roller, who won by 1 point, tournament point.
So all those ties he had against me were the deciding factor.
Yeah.
Because he had 7 on me.
Yeah. Xtreme was the, dwarf
Although
assist.
with all those bash teams, it is at least harder to get a lot of casualties, right?
Unless you're driving a death roller.
Yeah.
And as a person playing a dwarf team, I don't ever expect to suffer 7 casualties, but
feels good, doesn't it? How's it feel?
So Xtreme at 3-die brawl, I played dwarves, and I suffered 6 casualties in the game, but it was against that team that had like Morg and Trema, Deep Root and Morg, and
which I mean, in this matchup, I had 2 Mighty Blow Troll Slayers that I was using pretty effectively. So really, I had more damage causing skills than he did, but dice are dice.
Did you try to dauntless on the death roller at all?
No.
Oh, well then, the fault is yours and yours alone.
Would your games have gone different if you took leap?
If I were to take a what?
Leap.
Yeah, they would have gone a lot different because I would have had a skill I never used.
Would your game have gone different? Real question. Your game have gone different if you took a death roller instead?
Maybe, but I don't like messing with that core 11 that I have. Like, I don't know, that feels like the dwarf team, and then anything else you can do from there changes it. Because I mean, he had no blitzers and 1 slayer, I think.
He basically did what you'd have to do to get basically the star player rule. The star player rule, in the terminology, means adjust your roster in such a way where you can squeeze in a star player, but not have your normal, what you would consider your normal team. Yep. He did that, but for a death roll instead of a star.
And he made a huge sacrifice, and it worked. So,
right. Xtreme, do you appreciate the fact that I didn't allow stars in this?
I did, because I still don't like them at all. But this is like 2 or 3 tournaments I've played with no star players, and it's been great.
The other ones were you just happened to not see them, or they weren't allowed?
They weren't allowed at Ogre Hio except for the tournament star, who was like a little guy, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
So he's not even like a game-altering star.
Yet your 1 tournament win was with star players allowed.
Yeah. Did I play against any star players though?
I didn't have one. Yeah.
So.
Oh no, the Goblin team I played had. So, whatever. It was fun.
So.
Well, he was the odd man out. I don't think he had a beat stick team or anything.
I don't like the idea of star tournaments like we talked about many times before, but if it's in the rules, I'm going to consider it. I just decided to take it out of the rules. Just make it easy.
You can have fun with both.
You can. I just didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted people to bring teams. I brought it down to 1.1, which in our dinosaur age, that was a lot. Tournaments were either 1 million or 1.1 million. If you 1.1 was like, whoa, we're talking big time. Now 1.1 is like the low, right? You don't see any million tournaments anymore.
It's
What's
like
Gen Con? Isn't Gen Con pretty low too?
I think it's 1.1.
1.1?
I could be wrong though.
Yeah,
Brian, are you
I
like
haven't looked at the rules in a long time.
with a
I
wood
don't
elf
You
think
team?
should talk to the TO on that one.
that's like the ground level now, though. You are right. No one really goes below 1.1 anymore.
Yeah.
But with like a wood elf team, much like a dwarf team, you do have to completely change your team to take a star.
Well, you know what happens then? People do the old leader, get a reroll that way. Don't buy any, it's there. People, I will say, it's not horrible to have a 1 million tournament. It would actually be a nice change of pace. You just have to make some other decisions on what you're taking. That's all. What's that? You don't want to
I
do
have
it?
one of the races that don't really care if it's 1 million.
Well, that's fine. Dwarfs, well, they did change the price a little bit. Remember back in the day, it used to be that standard million. with
Yeah,
the three.
you basically lose a reroll now.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you
lose a-
used to be able to get everything in 3 rerolls. Now
Oh, so you're saying 50,000 is the difference in price now of the other stuff added up?
not completely 50,000. So you get like coaches or something, but it's enough where you have to lose a reroll.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I'm not like mad when tournaments allow them, and I may take one, but I just didn't want to deal with it. So, any tournaments on the horizon before we wrap it up?
I'm going to Bounty Bowl in July.
Oh,
Where's that at?
a bounty?
Hmm.
Is there a bounty at the tournament?
There is. Every round, a player on each team has a bounty on them.
I like it. That's fun.
Where's that at?
Toledo,
This is in what state?
Ohio.
Yeah, I don't think our show comes in there.
It's
I think
blacked
they have
out like a Cubs game.
There's like a geo fence around that state that we don't.
It's close to Michigan though, so it kind of.
It's fuzzy, but it comes in, but it's fuzzy.
When is that tournament, Xtreme?
The middle of July.
Okay. Also, middle of July is that one, corn. Oh, like Kansas, Cornsis. I never said it out loud before. That's what that means.
I think they're the same day.
Oh, wow. Okay. I tried my best to maneuver around, but things happen. I might go to that. It's 3 hours for me, so doable. 3 games. And then, Jeffro has Chaos Cup registration open. So chaoscup.com. You can pay your money. I don't think you have to submit a roster yet. I just,
Not yet.
no, I pre-registered, but no roster. I'm not buying.
I'll submit my roster to Jeffro when he submits the results of Winter Wizard Bowl.
I think they're in there.
No.
Oh, no?
No.
Wow. Jeez.
I need my 0-3 record.
I'll
like
ask
that.
him on Discord what's holding him up.
What?
I'll ask him on his Discord channel what's holding up the results.
You should.
There's a Chaos Cup Discord?
Chaos Cup Discord, by the way, as a quick side note to us and the viewers at home, or wherever you're enjoying this, is basically Xtreme. Would you say that it's become the, at least Midwest, Blood Bowl scene, or everywhere? Is it the US thing?
I mean, it's so hard to say now. Like, since Facebook killed message boards, like, I think Discord is the closest thing we've had to message boards since they've kind of died off, but it's still not quite there. It is really not. The Chaos Cup Discord, like the other tournaments and stuff, is really useful. There's like a lot of people posting their tournaments and stuff there. So,
if you want to, Xtreme, since you don't have the burden on yourself anymore to keep that stuff alive, you could suggest that since his board, as you're going to talk to him anyway, like you said you were going to, don't make a liar out of yourself. You said you were going to talk to him. You can say, would he want to open up spots, like channels, for each of the tournaments?
you could. I'm in another Discord channel though that has like a ton of the like different channels, and I find that I just don't read any of them.
Oh, so you think other is just the best place anyway?
I think so.
Okay. Back in the day, Biran, when Xtreme ran the Zlurpcast boards, he was very clear. I think he had it in his signature. Like, if you want your own forum for your tournament, you have to message me. He was like really like it's
was
like
he a board Nazi? He's like,
it was like very much
rules.
like bend the fucking knee, you know?
Yeah.
And what it was I don't want you to complain later that you didn't get one. Like, just ask and I will create one for you. But
They wanted it done for them without asking though.
He wanted you to read their minds.
He's like, Xtreme's like, bend the fucking knee. Oh man, the old boards. Biran, you would have loved it. You would have loved it. Then just kind of went away, which is, it happens. Facebook, here's the thing though. I actually like when there's an event on Facebook. I do not like when there's a Blood Bowl tournament without a Facebook event, because I just forget it's there, and I like to I like to have it in one spot where I know it's going to be. The rules are one click away. The people that are going or sort of going, it's a grain of salt, because my tournament had 19 people interested and none of those 19 showed up.
I always assume interested means I'm not going, but I want to watch things going
Oh,
on.
okay. Well, if that's the case, then that was what
It's
it was
the $1
for.
Kickstarter pledge.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fine. So
Before we
anyway.
move on from this tournament, though, I do want to say the store was freaking awesome.
Oh, thanks for bringing it. Yeah, Mayhem, great store. Xtreme, I asked you there, but for the show purposes, you have said before on record that a store has to either be a comic store that you might have games, or a game store, and I guess you sell comics. That's weird though. Is this one of those?
I think this might be the exception to the rule. I think they do both equally.
So when you say comics only or games only, what about various pop culture, action figure, memorabilia, stuff like that?
I would say those belong in a comic store.
But so that comics and that isn't okay to mix.
Yes.
I would disagree a bit. I think collectibles should be in a comic store, but I think it's not crazy to have a game store with some of that stuff. Now, if we're talking about comic characters, hot toys and whatnot, sure. But what is a collectible always?
No Funko Pops would be my rule.
Well, Funko Pops are ubiquitous.
Well, but every comic book store is going to sell magic boosters.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But it's not usually a focus.
This store does a lot of magic, but they don't, I don't even know how to explain it. It's by no means is it like that's their thing.
Right.
They have magic, and people at the counter flipping through cards. It's bartering and shit and all that. It's a part of it, but at no point does that store, even when they had a decent event, like some kind of, I don't know, where you buy boxes that come, whatever those events are called, where that, even when they have a thing going on, at no point does it ever feel like I'm in a magic store.
The thing I really liked about the store was like you could pick what you wanted and they provided it there. There's a really cool thing. Like I was more interested in comics than anything else. And there was like this awesome comic selection and it was very well done. So I don't know. I really like the store. It was really cool. And
thanks
because
for,
I finished all my games early as I usually do, I had plenty of time to walk around and look at all their comics.
Yeah, it's if I had to put it in a bucket, it is a comic store first to me. But because their game section, both for miniatures, accessories, and board games, is so huge that it is a both. But I look at it as a comic store first for me.
Like the retail area, I think was almost like 50-50. Like,
yeah, you're right. And they also are always staffed. Like I told you before, on a Wednesday, they got 8 people working there. They're always staffed, and there's everybody on the staff everybody knows a little bit about everything, but they also have their specialties. And there's always somebody on that knows about, like, it's never like, oh, the guy that knows about comics is only here on Thursdays. Like every day there's an expert on one of the things, either magic, comics, or games. There's always somebody who knows about stuff. And usually it's the same, full-timers with a few kind of helpers part-time all the time. But yeah, it was great. They gave prize support. We had $10 from people, and they sort of like doubled it or whatever. whatever formula they used to give out gift cards for winners. Oh, I should also note, so on lunch, Xtreme and I went to Jay's hobby store. Jay's CD and Hobby is what it's called. We couldn't stay very long because I knew Xtreme wanted to hit the road after the tournament. So we just kind of used the lunch we could. And Xtreme, the short time you were in there, what did you think about Jay's?
It's pretty cool. I mean, the toy section, I could have done without them doing games and stuff. Like their toy section was the highlight for me, but all the other stuff they did, it's like they dabbled in a little bit of everything. They have the used music stuff, the used DVDs, toys, and then like games. And I would rather them just focus on toys.
Is that the one that has stuff that's not for sale?
They're pretty much, as far as I know, everything there is for sale.
Where was the place that had the TMNT stuff? That's not for sale.
Oh, that's Chance's store in Iowa City. The critical hit. I gave him shit about that at the tournament. I think I called him a tease, but
I went to a game comic store in Madison when I was up there camping. Went to the Graham Crackers.
How was it?
Not really impressed. It was fine. Just generic, nothing.
Graham Crackers is kind of like Rosati's.
Yeah.
It's got the name, and just because you've been to one doesn't mean you've been to all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a slightly below average comic shop.
Yeah. Graham Crackers, Naperville. I used to love going to. Mike used to go to that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I went to the Glendale Heights one because of Bobby. That's where I hung out with my friends were. But later on, once he wasn't there anymore, and I worked down there, loved going to that store. I know they're not all the same though. So.
The downtown one's really cool too, but the only reason you're going to go there is if you're downtown, and we try to avoid that.
Downtown Graham Crackers, is it better than Challenger Comics? I think that place is pretty awesome.
Challenger?
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one.
No, oh, that's the one. So Pat Brower, who used to run Graham Crackers, left that chain and started Challenger downtown to make his own shop. And that's where, like, when wrestlers come into town, they always are autographing there. Unless that is a Graham Crackers and they just have a different name too. But
I don't know.
I've been there years ago. It was a really cool store. But they do a lot of wrestling things with the nerdy wrestlers that like to do comic related things. But anyway, he was an old Graham Crackers guy and started that with another old Graham Crackers guy. So I assumed it was their own venture.
I'm going to go Omni hunting tomorrow, I think.
Yeah? In person or online?
In person, beyond tomorrow, 50% off.
No, you need a deal to do it. I get it. You're a poor.
That's right. It's something about Omnis that just paying full price for them hurts too much.
But even at full price, it's still a deal.
It is, but man, 30% off, 50% off. Oh, so good.
It's like the one thing hobby-wise that I won't pay retail for.
Yeah. I bought She-Hulk at retail because I wanted to buy something on our trip out to visit Xtreme. It was okay.
I'd rather not buy an Omni full price. I will if pressured.
Well, now, like the Star Wars ones, even the thin ones are $100.
Those are how many? Like 30 issues, though.
Yeah, but they're not like a big.
They're not 50 or 60 like the normal ones. Yeah. I prefer to buy them online, but you know.
Yeah, organic price books is taken over as my new favorite.
Organic price. I don't think I've looked at there.
I haven't tried that one. I've used a few times atomicempire.com. It's pretty good. Just be careful because
it won't actually be in stock.
Well, yeah, there's a little button that says like on sale and in stock. They kind of look the same. And I'll put 3 things in my cart, and then one thing is available for order, and it's going to delay the whole order. And I'm like, if I known that one wasn't around, I just wouldn't have gotten it. And
I ordered an Omni, I think, from Cheap Graphic Novels, and it took literally 4 months to get to me.
I've gotten, it's a great selection at Cheap Graphic Novels, but man, I had one that just took forever, and I'm like, I don't think I'm doing this anymore. So it's tough. Yeah. That's about it. Anything else? Oh, sorry, Xtreme.
In Stock Trades has moved to Indiana, so shipping is really fast from them.
Oh, nice.
Can you just pick it up?
No, I don't know where's that.
Somebody's house.
Probably.
It's that
It might
guy.
be.
It's the guy. That guy's house comic shop. They moved there.
Is he that guy?
What?
Is that guy a that guy?
I don't know. I've never seen a picture or image of him.
Speaking of that guy, if you want to own that guy, on OpenSea right now, you can purchase one of 6 gamer archetypes NFTs. Just saying, check it out.
Non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, it's out there. You can own it. You can own it if you like.
In these trying economic times, it's like buying gold.
Yeah, you never know. Follow Zlurpcast all over the internet and Facebook group, all that, and all the usual things. Discord. That's where you want to be. Xtreme, you hope everybody gets into Discord, right?
I just want it to be a little more active.
Yeah.
We need another like 3 or 4 like super active people.
Super users.
Yeah.
I just don't care about starting stuff as much. When we first launched it, I did a lot more. And now it's like there's just so many things to do.
Yeah.
Slurpee Bowl used to be the place, the forum. It's all I needed. I remember at a job one time, there was this guy working. He's like, "Well, do you always have that green screen though?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "What?" He's like, "What is that?" It's like, "Is it like a game thing or something?"
You're like, "Yeah, it's Risk."
It's a fucking Risk use group. What do you think? He's always asking him, "What's that green thing that's always on your screen?" It's like, don't worry about the fucking green screen. Xtreme had to make it. Well, Xtreme, you could have, when you designed it, just made it not as flashy, but without the fluorescent green, because it makes it really hard when people are walking by. You want to be discreet.
Maybe to Xtreme, it isn't that flashy. Have you taken that into account?
Nah, he saw that. He saw that very well.
Mostly black with just the pops of green.
That's even worse. Because if it was all green, it looks like my computer's frozen up or something. Because of just the pop screen, that's the problem. Should have been black and gray.
That's boring.
It should have been black with dark blue text. So I have to highlight it to read it.
Like maybe like the opening screen to when you boot up a C64, like the blue, how many bytes remain or whatever. Throw a couple syntax errors in there. Just a thought. Anyway, that's it. Mike, is it okay to say next week we have a game topic?
Yep.
We're talking about firefights. It's not Warpath, it's Firefight. Warpath 2.0 came out in 2012. Just learned that today. So, Firefights. Mike's going to be leading the discussion on Mantic's sci-fi battle game to rival Warhammer 40,000.
Maybe a special guest?
Yeah, hopefully.
Ooh, Ronnie Rentone?
Yep.
Yes.
Ronnie Rentone?
We're going to have Ronnie, we're going to have John Jack, and we're going to have Pat Chopper Lewis.
Ooh, Choppa.
And we're going to have Linda Ackerman Snow Daria.
Nice. And Ryan Railroad Croson.
And Coach.
Oh, and his coach's son.
Coach.
Mm-hmm. And Fabian.
And Fabian. And all the Mantic, Tyler, maybe?
Yeah.
All the hardcore Mantic fans. Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing a Mantic roundtable.
And who's the one that hates Battle Foam?
I don't know.
Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brian from I believe he's in Arizona as well.
Yeah, he's in Arizona. Brian.
That was a local fight. Yeah.
I can't think of his last name.
I'm drawing a blank now. Wade.
All I can think is Brian too.
Brian Wade.
Wade, yeah, that was it.
There might be others that hate Battlefield.
We're gonna have him and Romeo, and they're gonna hash it out.
We should do a Mantic roundtable where it's like, instead of our 4, it's like all these boxes of faces, and then we put them all on mute and we just like gripe at them about problems. But they're all
left arms.
They're like, so what's the deal with this? And they're like, they can't say anything back.
Just what I thought. No comment.
Here's all the money I spent. Now you're gonna fucking hear about it. And they can't retort. Oh, I love that. So stay tuned for Firefight in a week. We're gonna talk about it, and I think the ratings might surprise you.
One
we'll find out.
Zlurpee.
1 gross foot with seasonings on it.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Zombie. Eat flesh.